Right, ladies and gentlemen, first little thing I'm going to say about this isn't new content. They bigged this up as some big fucking thing. This is recycled content yet again. These are the shards from the Halloween event. The things that you get from survivors by trading souls in the little void mini kind of map place. The little shard you could crack and it'd spawn a cloud. That's literally what this is. This isn't new. So basically we've just copy and pasted that into the base game mode and said it was a new item. It's not a new feature, it is literally just not new. It's just recycled content again. Sure, but yeah, basically just shards from the Halloween event. They could have done something interesting, but no, just copy and paste something that already existed. It's the behaviour way. So using them on chests good, that actually makes sense. I'd say, yeah. Letting them use them on a chest is good to get a better item. That's gaming. Yeah, so this saves, by bringing this now, you save yourself a perk slot on Survivor with this. Because you just give yourself a Windows. Depending on how many charges there is going to dictate on how this is balanced, basically. But yeah, that's basically, you don't have to run Windows anymore, just bring a map. Toolboxes are already dog shit, you don't really need to use a toolbox to do gens in this game either. The only viable item these days is medkits for survivors. So we'll have to see how viable they are, but yeah, this nerfs the 3-gen situation again, indirectly. So not only are killers being told that they can't damage generators more than 8 times in a match, an effect that has only ever been very fucking strong and never been fought through ever in the history of Dead by Daylight. Now we also can't bank on them not finding that other gen, because they'll just fucking find it with a map. Fucking hell. I don't know what we're talking about experienced players for, because we don't fucking design the game to cater to that. So I don't really know what your fucking idea of experienced players are, mate. Because I'm telling you now, all the actual people that play outside of low MMR on Killer myself and other streamers that are going on about how bad Killer is to players and experience at the moment, you're not fucking anywhere near us. I'll fucking say that bluntly right now. Based on the game you're designing, you are nowhere fucking near experienced players. So, oh, okay, right, no, I see what's happened, right, okay. So we've added haste and endurance effects from Cage. So basically what they've done is they've character assassinated him. So his cages don't fucking do anything now. I think you might still get away with dodging DS, maybe. But now they get borrowed time out of a cage. So there's now no fucking point whatsoever to using cages. We've heard your feedback about the executioners add-ons, could use more variety. Yeah, we've probably been only listening to the survivor side though, haven't we? Because we've heard the feedback about the add-ons, so some of the survivors have said, yeah, they just use the range add-ons. Give them that base kit, but fucking give me some borrowed time and some haste out of my cages, because it's a bit too oppressive to play against the power roll. Side of these changes, keep an eye on the patch notes for the details remade the quality of life. See how they don't mention anything about just completely gutting his cages. That's a subtle wink to the survivor mains, that. See that? Here's your range add-ons, killers. We've made them all base kit for you.
Don't worry, we've copied his cages. See that? Don't worry, we've copied them.
Touching fucking Clown, like he needs buffs, this killer dude. Swear to God, if they'd done something to Clown, because I did main Clown for quite a while, and a lot of his issues is that he is literally fucking useless against survivors that can path. Because I've booted onto Survivor, mate, and I've looped this killer for like 1 or 2 gens worth. If you're getting caught very easily by this killer, mate, it's a fucking skill issue. Honestly, you just literally run to jungle gyms and rotate pallets and tiles, and you're completely fucking safe. So yeah, they're buffs, which is what he needs. But you've basically just gutted his fucking chase power with this. Because there's no numbers, again though, we don't know what this is, how much it's decreased by. The hindered effect, when I play Clown, I have to, I can't remember what the add-on is. There's one of them that increases the potency of the hindered effect, by how much they're slowed down, and it still feels like shit. We've adjusted values on a few perks that add low pick rates to help buff them up. Right, okay, here's the first bit of evidence that I say when I say that behaviour doesn't play this game, or they only play it at low MMR. This has a very high pick rate. This has a very high pick rate. I see these two perks in on and off pretty much nearly every game I play. Saying that Deja Vu and Built to Last are low pick rate is absolutely fucking out of touch and wild, to be honest. So it's got a low pick rate despite being in nearly every game. So that's probably been buffed. New PTB update, ladies and gentlemen, is here. We're going to do a quick little review of it, you know, the usual. Some people like this kind of thing. I think this is only a small one, but, you know, we'll have a look through it. As per 10 minutes ago, at the time of recording this, the next two licensed survivors are confirmed to be The Walking Dead, so I'm very likely getting Rick and Michonne. Well, yeah, we're just going to have a look at the changes, because there's been a couple of survivor updates and all that kind of stuff, and you know my thoughts on survivor updates, you know. But apparently there's been some killer changes and all that kind of stuff as well with it, so we'll have a look. First time reading this, going in blind. 9.1 update is approaching, so let's dive into the notable changes that's going to be coming to the public test build. Yep. We know all that. New features, new survivor item. Here we go. So they did say they were going to introduce a new item to the game for survivors, something that resembles game development from the actual core gameplay standpoint for about the past 9 years, but you know. Fog vial. Added a new equipable item for survivors, the fog vial. Its effects include using a fog vial causes a fog cloud to expand outward from the point where it is used, dissipating after a set time. Scratch marks do not spawn within a fog cloud. Audio is muffled for anyone within a fog cloud. The auras of players within a fog cloud cannot be read by other players. The fog vial has a cooldown which recharges over time once used. Added item rarities and add-ons for the fog vial, I assume. Right, ladies and gentlemen, first little thing I'm going to say about this. This isn't new content. They bigged this up as some big fucking thing. This is recycled content yet again. These are the shards from the Halloween event. The things that you can get from survivors by trading souls in the little void mini kind of map place. The little shard you could crack and it'd spawn a cloud. That's literally what this is. This isn't new. So basically we've just copy and pasted that into the base game mode and said it was a new item. It's not a new feature. It is literally just not new. It's just recycled content again. The fog vial specialises in creating confusion and breaking line of sight. When it's activated, this fog obscures your surroundings while still allowing for limited visibility with your immediate vicinity by moving to a single recharging use. Survivors can use the fog multiple times per trial and don't have to be quite so precious about saving charges. Yeah, because it's not an horror game anymore, is it? Letting them be more in the moment with their vial uses and literally everything else they've got working for them. Stay tuned in the patch notes for more information about the fog vials. So this is probably going to get abused in Swift. I can say that straight away. The fact that it recharges and it doesn't say anything about, you know, doing the objective to recharge it or anything. It's just basically passive. You're going to get people fucking around with this. This also fucks spirit hard. Audio is muffled and there's no scratch marks in the cloud as well. So you can just drop this when she's phasing and gone, basically. Unless you just break out of phase immediately, but you're not going to get your hit out of that because it'll be somewhere else. Sure. But yeah, basically just shards from the Halloween event. They could have done something interesting, but no, just copy and paste something that already existed. It's the behaviour way. Survivor item update keys. Changed item charges to refer to individual uses of item rather than overall time it can be used for. Right, okay, so I'm assuming charges have gone down then, because it means, yeah, whenever you press the button to use it, you consume a charge. Adjusted the uses for this item to cover the following. Channel the key to consume one charge and reveal survivor auras for a limited time. When near a closed hatch, consume one charge to unlock it. That shouldn't be a thing. I know it's a fucking key, but it shouldn't be a thing. The escape through the hatch is already something that's a bit fucking stupid, to be honest. It just robs you of a 4K whenever you're playing killer. And the fact that it spawns it near survivors most of the time as well. If the killer finds it and closes it, that should be the reward for the killer. But no, combat mechanics at every turn, please. Consume one charge to quickly unlock a chest and gain an item of rare rarity or higher. Once a chest has been unlocked with a key, it is revealed to nearby survivors, can be rummaged by one other survivor to gain an additional item of rare rarity or higher. adjusted the effects of individual item rares and several add-ons here. So using them on chest's good. That actually makes sense. I'd say, yeah. Letting them use them on a chest is good to get a better item. That's gaming. Yeah, pretty damn good that. They should have done away with opening the hatch though. It shouldn't be a thing. The hatch is already literally a free escape. So if the killer closes it, it should be it. But you know, sure. There's also the situation as well with the keys where it's quite rare, but it does happen, where there'll be one survivor left and the last gen will have already been done, and then that survivor has 3 potential escapes. So they can either go for the hatch or they've got 2 gates, so you have to have 3 fucking pairs of eyes as the killer. If you close the hatch and they have a key, they can still just escape through the hatch, because you'll have to go and check gates. So it's literally free by virtue of that, in that instance, rather than it being the 50-50 of the gate. But, you know, sure. He stood out as the least used survivor items were typically outclassed by other options. We've reworked them to offer a wider range of utility and tap into players yearning for higher rarity items. Now the charge system is easier to track, think of it as usages rather than use time. Yeah, it's just a consumable. And the aura reading capabilities of keys are improved, while also adding some team-wide utility. Yeah, buffing Swift again. In addition to making it easier for the equipped player to get quality items from chests, keys also extend that opportunity to a single teammate. So change the patch note for key items, rarities, yeah, all that kind of stuff. Survivor item update maps. Changed item charges, yep, that's going to be the same thing. Adjusted the uses for this item to be the following. Channel map to consume 1 charge and reveal nearby pallet and vault auras to yourself for a limited time, so it's basically windows. So this saves, by bringing this now, you save yourself a perk slot on Survivor with this, because you just give yourself a windows. Depending on how many charges there is going to dictate on how this is balanced, basically. But yeah, that's basically, you don't have to run windows anymore, just bring a map. Toolboxes are already dog shit. You don't really need to use a toolbox to do gens in this game either. The only viable item these days is medkits for survivors. And flashlights, obviously, if you're in a Swift. But, yeah, you can bring a map now and save a perk slot. So, where you can usually have windows, or where windows would normally take up a perk, you can run another perk now. Basically, you've got a bit of a 5th perk going on there for the duration of your map. While auras are revealed, press the use item button again to create a beam of light only visible to survivors, revealing the auras of generators within the beam's range to all survivors. Right. So that's an indirect nerf to 3 gens, again, at the end. Because now they can put down a beam of light and show the rest of the team where the outstanding generator is, if they haven't found the other one. Usually when you've got 2 gens right next to each other and you sort of bounce in between them, and you have to hope that the other survivors didn't find that other generator, that's basically fucked now with that. So endgame is now probably 100% survivor favoured by virtue of this. Adjusted the effects of individual item rarities in several add-ons, yeah. It depends if people run maps though, as I say. If it turns out that maps are going to be viable, it's probably going to be because of this. Giving yourself windows, which is also going to give them access to this as collateral as well. So we'll have to see how viable they are, but yeah, this nerfs the 3-gen situation again, indirectly. So not only are killers being told that they can't damage generators more than 8 times in a match, an effect that has only ever been very fucking strong and never been fought through ever in the history of Dead by Daylight, now we also can't bank on them not finding that other gen, because they'll just fucking find it with a map. Okay, now, similar to keys, maps stood out as an underutilised item, which didn't fit into beginner or experienced player kits with this change. I don't know what we're talking about experienced players for, because we don't fucking design the game to cater to that. So I don't really know what your fucking idea of experienced players are, mate. Because I'm telling you now, all the actual people that play outside of low MMR on Killing myself and other streamers that are going on about how bad Killer is to players and experience at the moment, you're not fucking anywhere near us. I'll fucking say that bluntly right now. Based on the game you're designing, you are nowhere fucking near experienced players. With this change, maps retain the spirit of giving players an awareness of their surroundings, making their effects more consistent and extending some value to teammates. Now there's no need to track objects before they show up. Oh, you know, because that was very hard, that, wasn't it? Walking by something was very hard to do, you know, in our horror game. You know, now we don't even have to fucking look around the map. We just, it's just there. Big fucking beam of light. There it is. You know, there's your objective. Do it. So basically any non-traversal killer is fucked now, because they'll just have a map. You need to consider, ladies and gentlemen, what this means in Swift, because a lot of high-level play in this game is Swift and sweat squads. You will have one person running a map, and they'll be able to show you, show the rest of the team where the last gens are by virtue of this now. So you won't have a fucking chance if you're not an S-tier killer, basically, at endgame now, with how Survivor favoured the game already is at high MMR. If you don't think it's Survivor favoured, play killer. That's my first recommendation, because you're not fucking playing killer. And play killer and actually get to high MMR before you fucking start saying it's killer favoured, because it fucking isn't. You can huddle together in your groups on the forums and go on about how it's fucking, oh, I'm tired of being tunnelled in every match and killer players are all fucking evil and all this kind of wank. And you're doing it to yourselves, because you're basically turning the game into this one-sided fucking mess that 90% of the killer roster can't fucking compete with anymore. So obviously, or well, it's not obvious to a lot of yous, but you're going to get fucking tunnelled out your games, because that is the only fucking way killers that aren't S tier these days can fucking play the game. It's like smashing your head against a fucking brick wall, but they never listen. Preset improvements, increase total number of character customization presets to 7. Thank the fucking Lord. This is very good for me, personally, as a whale. Yes. This should have just been at base, to be honest. Yeah. Very happy to see this. Very happy. I'm sick of, like, having to use the third slot to just swap and match everything I want to make when I'm remaking new outfits and all that kind of stuff. Increase total number of loadout presets to 7, has the ability to change preset names. Whether it's the pursuit of fashion or prepping perks for every situation, we want it to make it easier to save your faves. Don't worry, your existing presets will be ported into this update system, yeah. It should have just been that in the base, man. I don't know why they give us 3 at the very beginning, it's so little. Keyboard and mouse and consoles, added mouse and keyboard supports, yeah, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S. Yeah, that's all, whatever. Custom match improvements, added hotkey, custom games, spectating killer perspective. Oh, we've got some killer updates coming up. Let's see what the nerfs are. Switch to killers, perspective, added spectators. Yeah, this is all just Tawny shit. I'm not interested. The Executioner. Increased punishment in the dam's range, because that was all you ever ran on this killer. Double ranged add-ons. Increased the duration of Rite of Judgment's trail, drawing, and trail lifetime. So they've made a bunch of his add-ons basically based on this. Decreased Rite of Judgment's movement speed. That's a massive nerf. And we've not declared what the speed is now. Why the fuck would you change his move speed? So, what they're doing with this, right? I know why they've done this. So, they've decreased the move speed because they've increased the range. So what they're trying to do is basically negate this by nailing him to the fucking floor. So by the time when his first animation, where he actually puts the blade into the ground, that little couple of seconds at the beginning where it doesn't let you actually shoot it, they can already be at somewhere like a window to deal with the increased range, because you'll slow right down when you first cast it, is what that is. But this overall, with the decrease, this is just it's a universal nerf, because even if you're not utilising the maximum range of it, you're going to get fucking slowed down now. I've said it for fucking ages, man. Every killer in this game, no killer in the current state of the game, the way it is now, no killer should be below 115. Ever. That's why Huntress is shit. That's why Deathslinger is shit. That's why Spirit is shit, a killer I'm currently maining, because she can't fucking mind game any pallets that aren't literal death pallets, you know, outside of her power. And she's got a massive fucking cooldown on the power with a blue add-on to reduce that shit by 40%. Fucking hell. Fucking reducing move speed of killers. Added haste and endurance effects to survivors. Save from a cage. Added input buffering to transition from punishment of... Right. Begin caging or killing a survivor when the prompt is available. Reworked his add-ons. Yeah, so they've just made it all base kit and then nerfed all the fucking add-ons that this was. So... Oh, okay, right. No. I see what's happened. Right, okay. So we've added haste and endurance effects from the cage. So basically what they've done is they've character assassinated him. So his cages don't fucking do anything now. I think you might still get away with dodging DS, maybe. But now they get borrowed time out of a cage. So there's now no fucking point whatsoever to using cages. So there it is. So they still get the haste, they still get the endurance off the cage, so they're still going to get borrowed time. If they do get the perks, they're going to get off the records, they're going to get DS, and there's no fucking point in using cages, other than it just being a quick hook mechanic. That's literally it. So we've just completely nerfed Executioner then. This isn't enough of a buff to offset, you know, giving him the endurance from a cage and decreasing his fucking move speed for channeling his ability, something that's universally bad. For most killers that have any sort of charged-based ability. It's like all Huntress, for example, where she pulls the hatchet out, takes 20 minutes to pull the fucking hatchet out, and then slows down further to like 105 or some shit when she's holding the hatchet, so they can just move around the wall, and you'll never get your fucking power off at loops. So yeah, more of that shit. We've heard your feedback about the Executioner's add-ons. Could use more variety. Yeah, we've probably been only listening to the Survivor side though, haven't we? Because we've heard the feedback about the add-ons. So some of the Survivors have said, yeah, they just use the range add-ons. Give them that base kit, but fucking give me some borrowed time and some haste out of my cages. Because it's a bit too oppressive to play against the power roll. Range shouldn't feel like the only viable option. Well, it is. In addition to making range increase his base kit, we've reworked his add-ons to introduce more interesting options, like adjusting the spread of punishment of the damned or triggering effects on misses. Right. Okay, so we've actually done something then, rather than just added these to base kit and nuked his fucking what they were down to like the wax doll and the Burning Man painting, basically just becoming when we rework them, they now cause hemorrhage. Outside of these changes, keep an eye on the patch notes for the details we made the quality of life. See how they don't mention anything about just completely gutting his cages. That's a subtle wink to the Survivor mains, that. See that? Here's your range add-ons, killers. We've made them all base kit for you.
Don't worry, we've gutted his cages. See that? Don't worry, we've gutted them.
Touching fucking Clown, like he needs buffs, this killer dude. Swear to God, if they've done something to Clown. Increase movement speed while reloading bottle. Good. Decrease bottle reload time. Good. There's the 2 buffs. Rest of it's going to be nerfs, right? Adjusted the effects of yellow bottles. Increase the haste effect. Buff. Increase the distance and speed that the smoke spreads to. Buff. Increased activation speed. Buff. Adjusted the effects of purple bottles, the one that he mainly used. Decrease the hindered effect. Nerf. Decreases how long the hindered effect lingers after leaving the smoke. Nerf. Added input buffer into charging a bottle throw, reloading bottles, adjusted several add-ons. Right. So, I'm going to read this in a minute. This, because I did main Clown for quite a while, and a lot of his issues is that he is literally fucking useless against survivors that can path. Which is ironic, because I do see a lot of people crying about Clown. When it is literally, if you're going down very quickly to this killer, because I've booted onto Survivor mate and I've looped this killer for like 1 or 2 gens worth. If you're getting caught very easily by this killer, mate, it's a fucking skill issue. Honestly, you just literally run to jungle gyms and rotate pallets and tiles, and you're completely fucking safe because he just can't do anything. Unless he's going to run Pinky Finger and just point blank a bottle on your back and then down you. That's all I've seen of him. But basically what this is we've buffed the literally pointless part of his power. And then nerfed the bit that's the utility. Well, I wouldn't say it's pointless, but it's... The buffs to it are fine. But it still doesn't guarantee him in it, the yellow bottles. Because they can still just vault. Because by the time you complete your vault, even with Bamboozle, it's the majority of the effect is over. And you do get pinned into the place. Or run into pallets, obviously. It's one of them powers as well where survivors can pick this up, which you shouldn't be able to. Similar to the Springtrap situation. Where, you know, you throw your axe in the floor and they can run through it and get the speed up. It's fucking stupid. It's like, at that point, it's just not a killer power. So yeah, they're buffs, which is what he needs. But you've basically just gutted his fucking chase power with this. Because there's no numbers, again though, we don't know what this is. How much it's decreased by. The hindered effect, when I play Clown, I have to, I can't remember what the add-on is. There's an add-on, a bottle of chloroform, I think it is. I know it's not chloroform, it's, there's one of them that increases the potency of the hindered effect. By how much they're slowed down, and it still feels like shit. Because if I try and run if I try and run it without the hindered increase effect on the add-ons, which you've probably fucking deleted now with this, it's non-existent. The hindered effect is literally non-existent if you don't run the add-on for it, based on what I've seen. So now they've decreased that even more. So if they've deleted the add-on that buffs the hindered effect, he's not going to be able to get anybody in chase. You're going to have to rely on your yellow bottles and just play as an M1 killer, basically. Because, as I say, even with the add-on to increase the hindered effect, these bottles are fucking useless most of the time. If you've got intelligent survivors that just rotate tiles and run to pallets and all that kind of stuff. And they've also decreased how long it lasts as well. Sure, when it comes to the Clown's power, his purple bottles see much more use than his yellow across all across skill levels. Because that's his fucking killer. Oh my god. Oh, what aspect of this killer's been? Hang on, guys. This killer, he's got. Let's have a look at Trapper. This killer's got bear traps. He's using them a bit too much. Let's nerf him. See this killer? He's got a knife. Let's give him an inflatable toy. He's using that knife a bit too much. Fuck's sake. We've given the yellow bottles a quicker activation, greater speed boost and wider effective range, coupled with some base speed increases while gutting his fucking chase power. To compensate, purple bottles have received a slight nerf, his chase power, requiring a little more throw control to get their full value. They already did require throw control because the cloud wasn't that big, unless, I think it is chloroform that increases the gas cloud radius. But that's the point of his power. He's supposed to slow you down and debilitate you. It's his fucking character and his power. Fuck's sake. So we've removed the part that's active in a chase and replaced it with just move faster. So in my mind, this is a very, very warped, weird ass fucking response to everybody across both survivors and killers telling behaviour to fuck off when they try to remove haste effects. So they've gone, hang on a minute, people like haste, so let's turn Clown into a haste only killer, you know? But gutted is actual what allows him to get people in chases. You can just tile rotate against this. That's it. Just run to pallets, run to a fucking window. And then by the time you actually get through the window or you drop the pallet, yellow effect's gone. Telling you, man, they don't fucking play this game. They really do not fucking play this game. Obviously, we'll have to see what it's like when it comes to live, if it does come to live, all this kind of stuff, but based on the words here, because they're not giving us numbers either, so I'm just assuming it says decrease, so it's going to be quite big. But it's fucking, they need to stop touching killers, like, stuff like this, and just fucking, like, even, like, clowning myself, because obviously I mained Clown for quite a while. He needs buffs. It is literally a buff situation. But they're listening to all the shit fucking survivors on Twitter again. The night, increased maximum patrol length, that's a buff. Increased path drawing speed, acceleration and strafe speed, that's a buff as well. Carnifex standard spawn slower, that's a buff. Assassin and Jailer standard spawn quicker, that's a nerf. Added input buffering to drawing a patrol path, don't know what this is. Input buffering. Adjusted call to arms add-on. which I believe is the length, yeah, because they've just made it base kit again, so that'll be nerfed, or just pointless. Drawing patrol paths is an important part of the knight's gameplay, so we made it feel snappier and extended his range slightly, making call to arms partially base kit. We've also adjusted standard spawn times for each guard, in particular the standards for the 2 chase focus guards. Will spawn quicker to help give survivors a little more counterplay during double team scenarios where they tend to be their strongest. Right. Just a bit interested in this, to help give survivors a little more counterplay. So ladies and gentlemen, the counterplay that has always existed for Knights Guards is basically, if you get seen by one of his guards, hold W and they'll never get you. That was it. Literally it. You just have to hold W. Just keep an eye on where the knight is. Usually, if it's a knight that's split pushing, I assume this is what this is, double team scenarios, where you send your guard out to chase another survivor to keep them occupied, which is why the standards are now spawning quicker. You just hold W and it won't hit you. So apparently that's a bit too hard for some people, based on this, what they're saying here. So holding W on your keyboard's a little bit too hard. But yeah, sure. It's fine, whatever. The pig, fucking hell, hang on, here we go. Increased crouching move speed, okay. Increased speed of crouching and uncrouching, okay. Increase the speed at which the terror radius fades when crouching, okay. Increased ambush movement speed. Added input buffer into crouching, charging, and ambush attack. Adjusted several add-ons. So they've actually buffed Pig across the board. There's no nerfs here. That's very surprising. Yes, we know we buffed Pig outside of her traps. Her ability to surprise survivors is an important part of her appeal. By increasing her speed and making her terror radius fade quicker while sneaking, she'll have more chances to act on unprepared survivors. Okay, now. Careful now. We've actually buffed a killer. That's very surprising. Yeah. All 2 of the pig mains are going to be happy with this. Yeah. Don't see anything wrong with it. She needs massive buffs, pig, anyway. The traps that she puts on as well need to be fucking well harder to get off, mate, because most of the time when I put traps on them, they just get them off on the first cage. But, you know, it is what it is. Perk updates, survivor perks, updated, any means necessary, appraisal, better together, be it to last, deja vu, detective's hunch, potential energy, still sight, streetwise, reworked streetwise, fuck all, explained whatsoever. We've adjusted values on a few perks that add low pick rates to help buff them up. Right, okay, here's the first bit of evidence that I say when I say that Behaviour doesn't play this game or they only play it at low MMR. This has a very high pick rate, this has a very high pick rate. I see these 2 perks in on and off pretty much nearly every game I play. Any means necessary does make quite a bit of an appearance as well in some games. I believe Better Together has as well. This is the perk where they heal. No, I think it's the one where they do a gen and it shows the other survivors what gen's being worked on. So then you get over and they get increased speed or something. I don't know. But yeah, saying that Deja Vu and Built to Last are low pick rate is absolutely fucking out of touch and wild, to be honest. In addition, we've adjusted perks that affect items to make sure they're compatible with this update's survivor item changes. So what we can sort of predict maybe from this as well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a gen speed perk that's used in a lot of games. Because Behaviour seems to think this is a low pick rate, it's probably been buffed. So that's a solo survivor perk as well. 8% increase I think it is at the moment. So I can see this realistically being pushed up to 10 maybe in the repair speeds. A perk that you just get genuinely an increase to gen speeds when you don't, you know, gen speeds are already too quick, but you can get an increase in gen speed just by doing a highlighted gen. So it's got a low pick rate despite being in nearly every game. So that's probably been buffed. Now we switch over to the killer side of things, fellas, where it's probably a case of all the stuff that has been used, we're going to nerf it down. Although, no, it isn't, because it's just stuff that's apparently low pick rate. Franklin's Demise. Wouldn't say that's low pick rate, though. I see that quite a bit on Survivor. Insidious only has one playstyle, so obviously it's going to have a low pick rate. That was used on Alien before they just destroyed it. Scourge Hook Handman's Trick, fucking hell. Reworked Overwhelming Presence, okay. Similar to above, we buffed some perks, which boasted. They buffed it. They buffed it. They buffed Deja Vu, fucking hell. And they've buffed Built to Last. The perk that allows you to get your fucking toolbox back. So now you're probably going to have, you can be able to get probably about 3 toolboxes out of this. Fucking hell. Similar to above, we buffed some perks which boasted lower pick rates and adjusted certain perks that affect items so they're compatible with the recent changes. Yeah. Right. Don't know what any of these are. As I say, can't comment on this, but yeah, we buffed gen speed perks and perks that allow them to get their items back. Potentially the speed they can lift pallets back up as well. Also gen perk as well, potential energy. You might have removed the deficit on this, maybe. So you just get it by working on a gen, and then you can put it on another gen, maybe. Sure, there it is. There's the 9.1.0 changes. Sure. It is what it is, fellas. I don't really have anything else to say, to be honest. It's we've just gutted Pyramid Head. Probably nerfed Clown based on this. We made a couple of changes tonight, but again, you can just all W against them, but it needs more counterplay. Pig got buffed. Gens are going to be even faster. A bunch of just pointless stuff that doesn't have any sort of impact on the meta. Sure. There it is. We'll have to see how it goes with The Walking Dead, what perks are coming into the game and all that kind of stuff, but yeah. We're going to have potentially... It does say, thingy actually, 2 survivors, so we're probably having 6 new survivor perks coming into the game as well, like the Resident Evil situation. So we'll have to see how much the game breaks with those, but yeah, it is what it is. See you on the next one.